What's up, guys? Welcome to Team Epidemic. Today I'm going to be showing you my Altergeist profile. Now, anyone who knows me knows this is a deck I've played ever since, even before Multi-Faker dropped. This is just some cards I've always had love for. I've had pretty good success with them. I've topped once or twice at a regional with it, and I went undefeated at locals for like the better part of 9 months. There's something with this deck. Of course, that was before this current format, but that being said, I do believe Altergeist has its place in this format. I won't say it's the best deck because it is pretty reliant on die roll, and there's a lot of good first turn decks this format. That being said, you can definitely sneak some wins with this at locals, or even have success at bigger events with this for sure. I completely believe the deck is viable, so if it is a deck that you love as well, I would suggest trying to run this list and seeing what you think about it. Of course, we start off with a 3 faker. You have to run 3 of these. Ever since it came back off the ban list, it was just a blessing. We do have the 3 Milliseek. This is like the best go second card in the deck, and also it's really good going first because it's basically like a Sangan. You link off and get your faker, so or anything else you may need. We do run the 3 Marionetter. This sets the trap from the deck. It can't be Ash, but it's still vulnerable to like Valor and Infinite Impermanence. So just be careful of those and try to read if your opponent has it when you're making plays. And if you open both, decide which one you want to go for. We do run the 1 Conqueree, which is just the attack buffer. I do find myself siding this out more than I used to, just because the format is so reliant on first, like going second is so reliant on what you do that turn. And there's not a lot of grind to it. So I will side this out sometimes just to make room for some of the side cards. And we are running the 2 Silk. Used to, I would side this out as well to 1 going second, but it just really hurts if you open up the 1 copy and you don't have it to get off Faker or something like that. So I've been trying to force myself not to side out the 2nd Silk, and that's why the Conqueree's been getting the boot. So I mean, 2 is definitely correct. You don't want 3 just because opening it's not where you want to see it. And we are running a small hand trap package in this, which is, I know this format really likes hand traps, which we do have them sided. It's just in theory, we want to go first, which hand traps are good going first as well, because they play out of your hand and they're a lot safer. So if you do want to add in more hand traps, I do have something planned for that. So just stay tuned. But we are running the 3 Ash and the 3 Imperm, just the generic ones that hit everything. And we are running the 2 Protocol, which I still think is correct at 2, and the 1 Manifestation. And we're going to talk about this card in a minute because I know you guys are probably seeing something that clashes with this, but I will explain. And of course, the best trap card in the game, Solemn Strike. We're running 3 of those, and we do have the 3 Judgments. I don't know why this card's out of place, but we are running the 3 Judgments and the 3 Solemn Strikes, and then we have the 3 Personal Spoofings, which is another Altergeist card that just adds consistency. I also side this out going second. I'll cut it down to 2. And sometimes if I have to fit a lot of cards in, I'll even cut it down to 1. Or I don't like taking it out completely because it is a really good card, but just going second, it can just kind of be, not very impactful when you'd rather see a hand trap or an extender or something. We are running 3 Torrential Tributes to go first. This card is actually pretty solid, especially if you time it right. And the reason why I'm also putting Torrential Tributes in here is because even if you lose die roll, Torrential Tribute plus Strike is a pretty good board breaker because you can just set your Torrential Tribute, you set your Strike, you set, Protocol or whatever. And let's say you have Multi-Faker in hand, or you open Milliseek and you did the Milliseek attack, they negated it, but you added Faker, something along those lines. So then you set these pass, and as soon as they summon, you just flip Tribute, and they go to negate, and you flip Strike, and Strike's a counter 3. So even if they have like 4 negates, spell speed 3 counter trap, even if they have like 4 negates up, they only get the chance to use that 1, and then you just cut them off from being able to chain, you blow up the board. And that happens a lot more than you'd think, especially if you lose the die roll. I am running the 1 Metaverse. Again, all my cards got out of order, I'm sorry. And the 3 Necro Valley. That is actually one of the biggest, I'd say, techs of this deck, this format. It hits everything, literally everything. It doesn't matter if it's Sky Striker. It doesn't matter if it's Tinny, any of the Dragon Link, if it's just Phantom Knights, any like Eldritch, everything's playing out of the graveyard this format. It is such a strong card. There's been it was so hard getting replays for this deck because 90% of the time I would activate Necro Valley and the opponent would just quit. What's up, Mabel? How you doing? But so this card's really impactful. I am running the Metaverse instead of the terraforming, and you can go either way with it. The reason why I chose Metaverse is just because I was having hands where I was seeing too many monsters, or like Ash and 2 normal summons, and I would get to my Faker, but I wouldn't have a trap card for it. And that just always feels bad. So I was trying to just add a little more to the trap lineup, especially like after siding, when you're siding out some of the go first cards. It just wasn't a very trap heavy thing, but you can definitely put terraforming in, and terraform. So the way it works is like terraforming is ash bait on your turn, but Metaverse is kind of ash bait on their turn. And with Metaverse, you always have, or you more than likely have Altergeist Protocol set up or a Solemn Strike set up to where you can actually negate the ash and make sure it goes through. With terraforming, you don't always have that option. So it just felt a little weaker to me as far as the deck's construction to put terraforming in. But I mean, if you open Extravagance, activate, draw into terraforming, and then you get the Milliseek, that's like 3 ashes. So you could argue going like on your turn, it's pretty good too, because there's a lot of ash interaction there. But I just liked to have it again for the Faker and to have the strike and the protocol to back it up. Now with Necro Valley, the manifestation, I know a lot of people's like it kind of seems pointless to run, a Call the Haunted when you're shutting off the graveyard pretty consistently. Well, as long as you have protocol up, Necro Valley does not negate your Altergeist cards. So even the Marionette summon from the graveyard effect, all those will resolve as long as your protocol is face up, which makes running Necro Valley just so much better in this deck. It is so good because you actually do have some graveyard interactions. But again, none of them get turned off as long as you're consistent about keeping your protocol, which is the game plan anyways. You always want protocol to be up. And of course, to round it off, I'm running the 3 Extravagance. I prefer Prosperities, just because Prosperities is a hell of a card. But I do know it is expensive, and like really expensive. And if you're playing Altergeist, chances are you're wanting to run for a budget kind of list anyways. So I just went ahead and stuck to the Extravagance that everyone knows and loves. And you can argue that 2 cards is better than, picking one out. But of course, statistically and consistently, adding the one that you need out of 6 is better than just drawing 2 random 2s. But they both, it's one of those things. One day one will be better, and it just depends on the hand or what you draw. You can definitely get by with Extravagance, and I don't think you'll suffer any for it. So if you're looking to save, like $360 or something along those lines, run the Extravagance. It's fine. You just kind of have to build your extra decks differently. And with Prosperities, you can build a full extra deck of just Winter Cherries targets or anything of the like, and then you don't have to run as many Linkuribohs because you get to pick and just stuff like that. So with Extravagance, you kind of have to double up on a lot and kind of really focus on what you want to see and what you don't want banished. So that's the only main difference. Now, I said earlier, if you wanted more hand traps in the deck, you can easily take these tributes out and put the Veilers in or the Nibs in, whatever or even the Lancias, if you think that's best. I like maining Lancias this format, especially it depends on the deck, because in Striker, I wasn't doing it just because it didn't feel like I had enough follow up. I'd shut them down. But Striker is a board breaking deck, so if they didn't commit to a board, I'd have all these cards that would destroy cards on the field, but they would just pause their plays until next turn. So with Altergeist, though, it can actually be pretty beneficial to shut down their turn, and then you get to set up your back row, and then they have to play through that. So if I would argue that this is one of the decks that maining Lancia in actually makes a lot of sense. It also protects you from Cosmic Cyclones and Evenly Matched. So if you wanted to go that route, feel free. I would probably go Veiler just for consistent hits and take out the tributes. But again, I really like the tributes in here, and I think this way works out because you just get to side when you know you're going second. And if you put in more Veilers, you'll run into the problem I was talking about earlier, where you don't have enough traps to keep your multi-faker alive. And that's when the deck really suffers, is when you don't see traps. So for the side, I am, of course, running a bunch of go second cards, because this pretty much nails down going first. So I am running the 3 evenly matched. Evenly matched plus Faker just feels so good. Like stupid good. Stupid good. The 3 Cosmic Cyclones, just for, you know, like the Scythe block doesn't really matter that much to this deck. But, you know, you want to hit your Sword Soul Blackouts. You want to hit just all kinds of problems, like Eldritch. You just want to hit some things. So it's in there. It's a good card to run. I'm running the 3 Lancia. It's just good against every deck. Like I said earlier with Necro Valley, everything plays out of the graveyard. And this just gives you, like, if you're going second, you get to drop the Lancia, and it gives you time to get Necro Valley on the field. So I would definitely rock the Lancias. The Nibirus, I've always, like, this is one of the decks I've always struggled with if I wanted to run Nibiru or not. And only because, like it's just so, it's kind of ironic. Because every time I side in Nibiru, I will open Imperm Faker. Every time. Like, I have replays that I did, and it's just, you're literally stuck with either choosing, do I want to Imperm, summon Faker, summon Silk, have that bounce interruption, or do I just want to let them commit to their plays? And this is definitely probably the correct way to do it, is you let them commit, you hit the nib, and if you have to, you use nib Imperm. If you don't have to use Imperm, that's awesome. You just throw the nib, and they negate the Nibiru or something. You can Imperm Faker out that way, because they negated Nibiru. So if you wanted to put like Ghost Ogre or DD Crow or something, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad call. I just like the really big, heavy hitting cards. And like the times you'll open up Nibiru, Imperm Faker are very, very slim for sure, but somehow it always happens to me, and I guess that's good problems to have, but it just always makes me hate this card. Also, it clashes with Evenly Matched as well. That's your call on this card. I am running the 3 Veiler. This card's just really good for hitting. You don't really want to hit the Halki Fibrax anymore. You want to hit the Mecha Phantom Beast. Aurora or what, I can never remember the name. Just the Link 3 or whatever they make that summons a lot of tokens. You just want to save your hand traps for that, because constantly I've hit the Hulk, and I've done the double hand trap, like, you know, they've had like the Griffin or something out, and that's just not the proper choke point anymore. I know it's still like muscle memory to hit the Halki Fibrax, but you really want to wait until, like, because stopping the desk bot in the graveyard's fine. But if they can just extend past that, and a lot of decks are running like Mare or something now, so you just really want to wait for that Mecha Phantom card and just negate. You do the double hand trap shuffle there. But this is the profile. Again, let me know what you guys think. If you do make any variations of it, or if you have any questions, hop in the Discord. Let me know, and we'll talk about it. Or if you want to know my reasoning behind anything, or any certain interactions, or even what siding looks like for certain decks, I don't care a bit to like show you what I would side out or what I would side in for various decks. And that being said, I'm going to put some replays here at the end. I know a lot of people make you watch the replays before you get to the deck profile, but you always have the option to skip ahead. So I don't want to make you like have to skip ahead just to get the list. Like, if you're just here for the list, you're going to grab the list and leave. So I would much rather just give it to you at the beginning, let you take it and go. But and then put the replays at the end, so that way you didn't have to do all the work. But that, if you do grab the list, please like, follow, subscribe, share, whatever these things are. And that helps us out more. And we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It is very hard. We are doing pretty good so far though. And hop in the Discord, hang out with us some. I do live stream. I know I say it every video, working on a set schedule. Pretty sure Tuesdays and Friday. I don't know about Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays are what it's looking at. Maybe Sunday or something like that will be my 2 days for streaming, but I'm still figuring that out. But that being said, I will see you guys next video. Thank you. Have a good one.